Hello and welcome to Slimefire Radio. This is episode 428 for October 28th, 2021. I'm
Okay, I have to stop you.
What's that? 28, 28?
It's October. Last week I said April.
What did I say?
Nobody noticed. You said October.
Okay, good.
But last week
you
I
said
said
April.
April.
It was an April Fool's joke, just 6 months too early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody noticed.
Anyways, I'm a host, Adriel.
I'm another host, Kyle.
I'm another host, Mo.
And I'm Kelly, who interrupts.
and mistakes their months 6 months apart.
Yeah.
Totally didn't even know I was doing it. I don't know how I came up with April, but it was April.
I'd hate to see if we still had checks around. I'd hate to see what you wrote on your checks. Probably like still on 2012 or 2011 or something like that. Eh?
Who uses checks?
You obviously wanted nothing to do with winter, and you were ready to jump back into spring.
Skip the entire thing this year.
I really
terrible idea.
I hate winter. I like skiing. I like snowmobiling. I like skating. I like building snowmen, but I hate snow and cold.
Sounds like you love winter. You should move to
Yeah, I was just gonna say that sounds like you love winter.
If you could do it all in one day and get it over with, that'd be awesome.
One day of winter, and then let's move on. Okay.
Yes, the 25th of December is perfect.
Cool. Well, What We Did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, they've got Federal Black Cloud, which apparently is like practically cyanide for ducks and geese. You just fire it close to them, and it just wipes them out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's shotgun ammo. It kills the ducks and geese and whatnot. You know something about that, though. Killing the ducks and the geese.
Yeah. I'm going tomorrow as well. Getting up.
Do you want to start us off with What We Did in Guns?
Okay. So I did a few things this weekend. Whatever. So I took a new shooter to the range, and she had an amazing time. It was at Frontenac, by the way. We did all kinds of things. We did a couple of different calibers of pistols. We did shotgun. So I brought her, I gave her the opportunity to try out my 1022 as well. She goes, oh, I like this.
Shouldn't spoil her right off the hop.
I know.
She's gonna go buy a 1022 and she's like, oh, this isn't like Kelly's.
Yeah. Well, I kind of lied to you. She went out a week ago, and her brother took her out, and he had a 1022, and it was stock model. And I said, oh, she showed me a picture. She was all excited about it. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Good for you. And she goes, I want to go shooting. I said, do you want me to take you? And she goes, yes, please. And I said, would you like to try pistol? And she said, yes, please. So she was able to. Well, we got there at 1 o'clock. We got done at 5 o'clock. So we spent 4 hours on the range, and she kept going. 12 gauge shotgun. She loved it. My 28 she liked even better. And as I said, the 1022 that I have, again, she tried it. She tried her brother's, and then she tried mine. She goes, oh, I like this. And then the other part of it is I set her up with some proper instruction as well. Her brother didn't. And so with pistol as well as rifle and as well as shotgun, she goes, this is amazing. She goes, I didn't hurt my shoulder, basically with the Benelli. But yeah, she had a great time. She told everybody about it. Now everybody wants to go shooting. So which is great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so right immediately afterwards as well at the range, I had a range orientation RSO meeting. So I'm going to be taking the new shooters that are going to be onboarding in November. They have to come and do 3 probationary shoots. So I'm going to be helping with that as well. Tomorrow I'm getting up and really early in the morning, and I'm going to go over to the Kincaid Ranch and do some duck hunting because it's been raining this last little while. Tomorrow it's not supposed to be raining, but they've been flying in the morning, not in the evening. So I'm going to go and actually shoot some ducks in the morning.
Do the ducks care about the rain?
Yeah, they do.
I've always heard like water off a duck's back shouldn't be a problem for them.
Yeah, they don't fly in. They don't come. They don't. Yeah, every time that I've gone duck hunting when it's been raining, which hasn't been a lot, they haven't come in. So
All right.
yeah.
They're fussy about rain. Okay, good to know.
Did you go duck
Yeah.
hunting last weekend? I thought you were going to go duck hunting last week.
Nope. Didn't
No?
go down. No. Gonna go this. So go tomorrow.
Just
Well,
duck, geese,
No geese.
any other kind of flying animals? Just anything that comes in.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But no, the other Kelly's going for a goose hunt with the Canadian Sportswomen's Association this weekend, but I'm going to be doing a maple seed. 2 days in Ottawa, Stittsville. We're going to be doing that. And one of them is a Canadian University Shooting Federation event on Saturday. So it's mostly going to be students. And then on Saturday, it's just one to the general public. But it's supposed to rain cats and dogs both days.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Great way to end the year. Awesome. Just saying. What else am I doing?
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. What about you, Mo?
I picked up the pace for my dry firing because I have the 2 matches this weekend. So one Saturday, one Sunday. The outdoor one, the one on Sunday will be outdoors, and it's at Eastern Ontario, so it's going to be in that area. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, it's going to be rainy, but it's going to be pretty much the last outdoor one I'm going to be doing this year. So I'm looking forward to it. The one on Saturday is at CTM, the indoor, and I was disappointed because this is the second indoor match that hasn't sold out, and I'm thinking it's all to do with COVID passport. Yeah, so our people clearly are in the unvaccinated camp. So because I mean, pre-COVID, I confirmed with my friend Louis because he's very, very in tune in the Quebec shooting scene, and yeah, these matches would always sell out within the first couple of minutes, and now they're not, like half filling up and stuff. So, and this is the second one, so it's disappointing, but I understand it, I guess.
Yeah, the same thing's happening here. Our indoor stuff, outdoor. We have some outdoor stuff still happening. Those are selling out within minutes, but indoor?
Yeah.
Or we're canceling them. We're not doing them. We're not going to be doing any at FRPC over the winter.
Yeah, it's disappointing
Indoor?
because, it's disappointing because, I mean, obviously we have to go through a winter and we want to keep shooting. And I'm hoping that, when we get into January, February, that this stuff will go away. But now today there was, there was a story about the Delta Plus variants. I'm like, oh, great. Just more.
Put on your parka and go shoot outside. Just go to the outdoor shooting ranges.
This is the man that has snow currently.
Do I have snow right now?
I saw pictures. Sherwood
Edmonton?
Park.
Calgary? Edmonton?
Was it Sherwood Park that was a little frosty? Everybody had dukes on. It was white on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah. Alberta.
It was nice here today.
Oh, it's nice here. And we just totally threw Mo off his track.
I just had one more thing. I just did a bunch of reloading for the 9mm for the match, and then tomorrow I'm gonna head to help with the build for the CTM, the indoor one, and that's it. How about you, Kyle?
Well, I won the lottery.
Yeah. What?
Got into Superstition Mountain.
Oh,
Oh.
congratulations!
Okay, that's still really cool, but I was
Yeah.
hoping that you would,
Oh, yeah, me too.
won the
Me
lottery
too.
and fly us.
But I won. I should have said I won a lottery
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the way they do the registration is a lottery. So, won the lottery, got in, so submitted my match fee.
So when you get in your double stick,
Working that out. Working that out.
Yeah.
But so I got a few months to figure that out. And I'm just like we said last time, cross my fingers, hope that things change before then. But yeah,
Hope so
we'll see.
too.
what do you mean? The
Well,
regulation.
hopefully they don't require it to go down in like 6 months' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see. Other than that, I mean, I really want to go. There's only one reason why I would have actually paid the match fee. it was different this year because normally they give you a week to pay. This time in the email is like pay in 3 days or you're
You're
out.
done?
So
Yeah.
that was
More
different.
reasonable.
That's about it this week, but this weekend's actually going to be a busy weekend because we got a little bit more wood. So we're going to go and finish off the 60 yard because we didn't get enough wood to do the 100-yard range. But we can go and figure out the 60 yard and get that finished up and ready for fill. And then on Sunday, I've actually lined up with a couple people. And yes, Sean, I got more wood. But Sunday, I'm actually going to be sitting down with a couple guys and recording another episode of The Asylum. So I should be able to have that out by the end of next week.
Good stuff.
Aw, I
Yeah.
can listen to it.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I think people are actually really going to be interested in it. Don't really want to go into too many details, but it has
Well, just give
to do
us
with
a quick synopsis so that people can go over and listen to. Once they're done Slamfire, they'll go over and listen to you.
So the
It's gonna be
couple
about
guests I
guns,
have
right?
on recently traveled down to the States to shoot in a big match. And so we're going to go over that match and the experience of traveling with guns, which I've done, but maybe not a lot of listeners. And it's actually pretty simple. And
It's
then also
easier to
doing
go-
it during like
It's easier to
COVID
go
times
over.
now. Sorry?
It's easier to go over with them and then come back, actually.
Oh, absolutely. I've
Yeah.
had more hassles coming back than going down.
Mhm.
And for Sean, The Asylum, that is a podcast I had started doing before I joined Slamfire, just a solo Lunatic Tactical podcast. Very informal, more fireside chat, long episodes usually. So
What episode
just
are you
me
on?
talking with people, literally just talking.
What episode are you on?
I think this will be episode 5.
It's been a.
So- I took a bit of a
sabbatical.
Yeah, I took a little bit of a break as soon as I joined Slamfire, but last month I got an episode out and we're going to get this one recorded and I'm going to try to get at least an episode a month out
Awesome.
of that. So,
That's good. Yeah.
Cool.
and Unknown Snipers, no, they're not snipers, they're competition shooters, but don't want to give
I
away
know who
all
they
the
are.
details. I just a little bit to reel people in.
I know who they are. I know who you're going to have on.
You
You gave
probably,
away
well,
too much already.
Stay tuned.
yeah, but that's pretty much what's going on with me right now. So
You having John Wick, right?
Hmm?
You having John Wick?
Yeah,
John Wick.
absolutely. Yeah, John Wick. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
The John Wick. Awesome.
I wish.
All right. I think that takes it to me. I hit the range with a listener, Thomas. So he's gearing up for deer hunting this year. And so I'm like, hey, have you sighted in yet? He's like, nope. So I'm like, all right, let's go to the range and sight in. I need to sight my stuff in anyways. So took my
What are you
guns,
using?
took his. I took the Maverick and I took my
Yeah.
Axis out, and the Maverick doesn't like my 140s, those new ones the Seiko ammo that I got. So I either got to make some 130s or just use the 140s and just don't care about the fact that it's popping primers on it.
Oh,
Ooh.
I don't really like that idea though. So
The
I'll probably,
overpressured pop and primers?
it's doing it with like factory ammo. It just does not like 140 grain bullets. If you run 130s with it, it's fine.
fine.
If you run 140s, doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. So yeah, I think I'm just going
Gonna go
to
and-
run the Axis and make
Okay.
it easy. At the same time, I got like some footage with my spotting scope and phone scope knockoff thing that puts my phone on the camera thing and slow motion and vapor trails of bullets and all that kind of stuff. It's really neat.
Yeah, I saw that. It was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put it up on Instagram. It's just like, it's neat. Yeah, man, like using the video camera on that thing on the target. Oh, so good. Because you could just video it and be like, oh, okay, there and doing this. And Oh, I'm totally off the paper. Okay, I'm going to rewind. Okay. Oh, there's the bullet splash right there. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go up and over here. And it's just better. Better in so many different ways. You don't miss any shots. It's just perfect. Yeah, very convenient. And for a gun reviewer, boy, fantastic for getting some downrange footage, right? So
that's cool.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And then for his rifle, we were he's running a 303 with a scope on it, and we were having zeroing issues, which I believe were the scope, because we'd make an adjustment and it would do like something nothing, or something totally not what we asked it to do. Okay. And it's like an older scope, so he's hunting for a new scope to put on it now.
What was he running for a scope?
It was like an older Tasco 4X.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of those are like you set it, you never touch it again, and it'll be fine for like decades. But then some you adjust it and they get all screwy on you, which I have experience with too, with that same model of scope, my dad's scope. Yeah, anyways, it was a good time at the range. Chaz 3-gun got a replacement stage vehicle donated from Guardian Auto. So we had our stage car got smashed by some miscreants, and these guys were like, "Hey, this motor's toast. Do you guys want this? I think it's a Jeep Patriot. Yeah, Jeep Patriot.
Nice.
And he said, yes, please.
I had one of those before, and it's like, yeah. Like the previous car we had as a stage vehicle was this tiny little Kia, which is actually really great because we could like drag it around and push it around so as a stage prop, very convenient.
Yeah,
a little bit tight getting in there. This one is going to be a little bit more comfortable and fit more people. So our bigger guys who shoot 3-gun will be happy to see a bigger vehicle now.
Make it like a clown car. See how many people you can fit in it.
Oh, that other one was very small, but again, like very light, super easy to drag around with a chain in a vehicle and whatnot. This one's going to be a bit heavier. Yeah.
I'm actually going to meet one of your Chaz guys on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chris. Last name Schaefer.
Oh, cool. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a Sherwood Park Fishing Game Association AGM later tonight.
Oh, is it?
That. Yeah. Maybe I'll go to that, see what's going on. And then I got a trigger video out. It's not next to me here, but Rick had loaned me a Tandem Cross Ultimate trigger kit, which is a trigger kit you can pop into a 1022, and it was very nice.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, they're pricier though. Like that's a $170 trigger kit, right? But it's super nice. Yeah, super nice. So I got that video out, put a couple memes in it, and since it was like a gun mod video, so with YouTube they will not monetize anything that's like a gun mod video or like anything that they think is unsafe, which who the heck knows what it is. Gun mod for sure though. So since this was a gun mod video, I used copyrighted music. I put memes in there, all sorts of things that would have got it demonetized anyways, like disassembly, a whole shebang. I put it in there. So
that was pretty
if I'm going in, I'm going in deep. What's that?
That was pretty meme heavy.
Yeah. So
it was very enjoyable, but
it was longer than I thought it was going to be because of the install. And someone's like, like you're such a joke with the time that it took. I'm like, oh, sorry, it took so long. He's like, no, did you take a look at how long it is? It's a 1022 trigger. It's 10 minutes and 22 seconds. I only wish I was that clever. That's just a coincidence.
Happy coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good. It's a good time. So I got that video out. I'm hoping to get a couple more out here as well coming up soon. So I think, do I have gun stuff on the way? I got to set in my kid's rifle this weekend. And then like this weekend is it. So after this weekend, it's hunting season. So I'm going to be out doing deer and hopefully moose. Where
are you going hunting?
I think I'm gonna go with Thomas to I don't know, somewhere around west of here. Okay. And then I've got a week booked off where I'm gonna head out to my parents' place and do some hunting out there. That's where I've got my moose tag. So that's where I gotta go. And if I get a moose,
gonna
need some freezer space.
Set for the year.
If I get it early in the week, I might try to process the whole thing myself. If I get it like mid or late, no chance.
No.
Straight to the butcher, not doing it because it's so much work.
Yeah.
But early, I could do that. One of the nice things about hunting in Alberta is that by the time it's November and it's hunting season,
Cool.
your garage or shop or whatever, wherever you're storing your deer or moose or whatever, it's probably cold enough. Like we don't have issues of meat rotting or anything like that. The issue I more frequently run into is they freeze. Meat freezes,
Yeah. So
and then you got to rewarm
you're not
it up.
hanging very long then if you're gonna.
Well, I'll hang like a couple of days if I can. So if I shoot it early in the week, then I'll leave it hang for a couple of days, and I got to get processing. That'll take a while. Yeah, I'm not doing like a 30-day dry age or anything like that. No, a couple days, make sure the blood drains out of it, and then start hacking
Good to
it up.
go.
Yeah, see, I'm a minimum 7 days up to 14 days for when I hang animals.
Do you have a climate controlled spot where you're putting your deer or moose or whatever?
Well, when I get my moose, I send it to the butchers, and the butchers
They
I
do
take
it.
it to, they have
Yeah.
no problem hanging it for 14 days, or
Yeah.
I'll keep the heat off in my garage, and then I can hang it. The instance it's insulated that the meat's not going to freeze, and it'll keep it cool enough.
Yeah. That's the problem with the garage I usually put it in is it isn't insulated, and it varies. It never gets warm enough to care, but it does get cold enough where it's like it's ice now, and there's no point in hanging an animal when it's just a block of ice. You're not doing anything.
Although we've done it like growing up, my dad actually had a mule deer and it froze. They went to go butcher, frozen. So it warmed up again, thawed out. They went to go made a plan to butcher, froze again. So it froze like 2 or 3 times, and it was like the
Still
best
used
deer
it?
we ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All that freezing and unfreezing, like very
Well,
slow, like it just broke
Tenderize the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're supposed to, like, generally with food safety, they don't like you to like thaw and then freeze and thaw
Yeah,
and freeze.
yeah.
And eat a
Yeah.
lot.
Over and over. Yeah.
We're still, although next week it's supposed to cool down a little bit. The high temperatures are just barely breaking the teens. So for us,
Yeah, no, it's cold enough here. It's definitely
Yeah.
cold enough here. This weekend coming up it's supposed to all go south in terms of, well, I'll go north in terms of temperatures. South, it's going to be cold.
south.
Oh, it's
I would-
south, but like it's warmer in the south. I don't know.
Yeah, it is warmer in the south.
Sean
Although
tries
it
to trim the
plummets.
fat right away, so it doesn't
The
freeze.
temperature plummets, but
I like
Oh, yeah.
leaving a little bit of crappy stuff on top, so that when I am ready to butcher, I can trim that off and then pack it up. Because if you like trim it right down to the meat and then it dries out, sometimes it can get like dry
Yeah.
and crappy.
Well, you get that skin on there. I'm with Sean. I try and get as much of the fat or the tallow off because it's got such a waxy taste to it. I don't want that getting into the meat. So as soon as I hang, I'll cut any bloodshot out and trim off the tallow, clean it up as best as I can, and then you know what? If I have some loss due to the crust that forms on the outside, so be it. That's the way I grew up doing, and I think it. Whenever I hear someone's talking about eating wild game and it being gamey, first thing I go to, it wasn't hung long.
long enough. Yeah. So Tim's talking about how he's talking about 60 to 70 degrees. So obviously 20, 25 degrees and when he does his deer hunting, and then he has to pack it in ice. So poor Tim. And then also Crystal's
No
talking
such-
about it going to be the hot daytime high of 2. So good luck with that, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's the
perfect.
weekend for us. Crystal's my wife, if anyone's wondering. So
Oh, hi, Crystal. Thanks for watching. Oh, yeah, Crystal Warner. Yeah.
The fat to use
Yeah,
as
you
wrap for
should've-
roasts. Caul
Yeah.
fat is probably the fat you're thinking of. The caul
yeah,
fat.
the caul fat, the webbing, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use that for your wraps for roasts.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho,
We should do those roasts. Or we should do those recipes and post them online.
Mm,
Wild
Mhm.
game. Mm.
mhm. If I got a moose, I'm gonna have to make a couple of recipes for moose because it's a little
How
bit
do
of
you-
meat to get off one of those.
How do you eat moose?
With my mouth.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yeah, there we
One
go.
big bite at a time.
Yeah.
Lots
Okay.
of jerky.
Straight off the
Actually,
bone.
I'm not going to make a bunch of jerky.
That used to be an old joke. It used to be, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mhm.
But a moose, good enough.
By the steak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's it for me. There's supposed to be a bunch of like Aurora this weekend, if you're interested.
Mm.
Upcoming events sponsored by Telos Alpha. Telos Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help with business processes, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media. Learn more at telosalpha.com. We have an event here from Chris. It's an action pistol match in Guelph, Ontario, Friday, November 19th at 2 p.m. or Saturday, November 20th at 9 and 11 a.m. Multiple entries.
What did I say? So you could either, or it's a 1-day match,
Either.
but they're running 2 days.
Yeah, I think so.
This looks like 3 cohorts, 3 groups of people
Yeah.
going through. Neat.
Nice.
So I just want to let everybody know that there is going to be a Ladies' Day at Lower Trent Valley all this weekend, October the 30th. They still have places available for people. So if you're interested, go to Eventbrite or go to the Lower Trent Valley website or onto Facebook as well. And you can find registration there.
Cool.
Yep. And we got a comment on one from Sean. Sniper series this weekend at the Rooster Rifle Ranch.
Oh, I
Rick's
heard about
going to be there.
Where's the Rooster Rifle Ranch? Is that in like
I think it's around Saskatoon, actually.
cool?
I believe I saw the post for it earlier today.
Me
I think it's John, confirm, deny.
Deny.
Deny. Yeah. Always deny. Yeah. Private range outside of Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. So Sean's typing this as we talk about it. Sean, where can people? Yeah, it's Kurt's range.
Yeah.
So where can people register for this if they're interested, or is it still open? I'm super upset that I can't make it. That's Mike. Sorry. Well, we're reading
that's
these
Mike's
as
area
we
too.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Into the news. First, a little bit of
Practice
news.
score. Okay.
It is on practice score. So.
Okay.
Oh,
Good.
cool. Okay.
Thanks.
That should make it easy.
Yeah.
Marco is our new First Minister in charge of public safety. Marco,
Yeah, we're
I can't
screwed.
remember his last name. Some Toronto lawyer who's very anti-gunner. In fact, there was a video with like
It was the gun debate date night. Yeah. So it's Glenn Motz that was
Yes.
doing it with
Glenn
him.
Motz,
So Marco is from, he is the MP for Elgin. He's downtown Toronto, basically, just north of
downtown Toronto lawyer.
No,
who's
he's-
anti-gunner.
No, he's not.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, he works downtown, but he's the MP for Eglinton. So not this past weekend, the weekend before, there was 3 shootings in Toronto, and they all took place in or around his area.
It's probably
they
him.
were, They were not legal gun owners.
Oh, you think so?
Not really. They were not legal gun owners, and so therefore, yeah.
They were not legal gun owners. Interesting.
Mhm.
How?
Didn't have their ATTs. That's
No.
type
Like,
one.
well, that's what I mean. Like, how can they do this?
Exactly.
People just break the law. And then Alec Baldwin's shooting a movie, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
CCFR legal fund donations. Kelly, do you want to go through those?
Sure. Okay, so just to let you know, apparently there is, if you want to go over to the CCFR, it's more important than ever to donate towards the legal donation, the legal challenge. You can go over there to the website and click on the link there to donate, or you can even donate to win one of those beautiful signs. Apparently there's a new sign, and it's $10. You can win it. Kyle even has one win as well. Or you can send an EMT to finance at firearmsrights.ca, and they will put that towards the legal challenge as well. Now, we also have a contest that's going on. It's a great contest, by the way. It says, keep your right to defile your guns. And yes, you can still modify your rifles or your guns with Dremels.
If you want to.
If you want to.
If you want to.
Right. If you listen to us, you will hear us often talk about how we love to use the Dremel. It's everyone's favorite tool, specifically Adriel. With the way that things are going soon, you may not even be able to modify guns with files or Dremels, but with Slamfire Radio, CCFR challenge, legal challenge fundraiser. You can help save your rights to win a chance at a Dremel, to Dremel your way to freedom. I think wasn't that Kyle's quotation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Dremel your way to freedom. Here's how you can win a chance to win an Adriel, the Dremel demigod, autographed cordless Dremel. 8,220? Or how
It's
do
an
we say that?
8220. It's a cordless. It's a cordless Dremel.
It's a cordless Dremel. Anyway, step 1, you can go to the donate to the CCFR legal challenge by clicking on what I just said. And then you can send us, or you can send an email to finance at firearmrights.ca with the password of help CCFR. Step 2, send us an email with proof of donation. Make sure you include your name, contact info at slamfireradio@gmail.com. It's like I've never talked before. Anyways.
Okay. Take your time.
Yeah, the draw happens. The draw happens on November 18th. And I think it's midnight we were talking about, wasn't it?
Yep.
I'm not going at midnight. We're just going to do it on the air.
Okay, whatever. So it goes, the draw is going to be happening on November 18th. So we have a couple of people who've donated this week. We have Anthony N, Joel H, Russ N, and Lincoln W. We're going to add you to the list of people who've already donated. So good luck with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then we've also had some donations to the CCFR Legal Fund from different gun clubs. Esther Hazy Wildlife Federation donated $2,500. IPSC New Brunswick donated $1,300, and Medicine Hat Rifle and Revolver Club donated $10,000.
Ooh, nice! Wow,
big dollars.
Yeah,
big money. Yeah. But they should have emailed us with proof so they could try to win that Dremel.
Club.
Then they could have a club
what
Dremel.
Club has a club Dremel?
That would be so amazing. A club Dremel. You had like maple seed rifles. Like, oh, you don't have the auto bolt mod. Let me go over. Let's just take this rifle over to the club Dremel and let's Dremel it right now.
I'd join Jet Club just for the fact that there's a Dremel right there.
What else would you need? It would be super well equipped if they've got that Dremel. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Adriel.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for picking up my slack.
I tried doing it smoothly. You don't have to point it out.
It was very smooth.
Have you ever listened to the Jocko podcast?
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, it's extreme ownership. Anyways, Thanks for picking up my slack there, bud.
No problem.
I'm concentrating on my dog's barking in the background. My kids walking in. Anyways.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear my dog barking?
Yeah, we heard you dog. A club labrator. Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
too fancy.
Yeah, that's right up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what happened at my club?
What's that?
What?
We installed cameras at the long range. So at the 400.
You guys didn't have? Oh, sorry. Wait,
like Target cameras
at the Targets.
Oh, nice.
So
fancy,
what you can do is you can you can ask to be given the password and you can log in and you can shoot and see your hits.
Wow,
blowing my mind.
Yeah, that's
pretty
amazing.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just did that.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah,
that's the future now.
I thought you were gonna say
This
like,
should
we got
be the
cameras at
future.
the long range. Like, oh, big deal. Like, all the most gun clubs have cameras to prevent people from stealing. But no, you're at the target line.
At the
For
Target.
the shooters benefit like that. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
You know, one thing, Bonnyville has rests that are like right at the different bays. So you can grab a what do you call it? That rock, the super steady rest lead sled. You can get lead sleds and just like pop them out, and that's super nice. Because imagine like storing, like hauling a lead sled, putting it in your truck, bringing it out to the range, or the range just has a bunch of lead sleds. And you can just crack them out and do your quick sighting or whatever. I love it.
Yeah.
So nice.
Like we have rests, but they're not lead sleds. They just hold the forend. But
yeah.
Some ranges will do like the car jack ones, the scissor jack that goes up kind of a thing with the rest in the middle. I don't see the point of those though, because like the mini rock ones that you can get from Caldwell are like $40. Why like do the welding and get the other stuff when you can just get one of those? Anyways, I'm off topic. New Gun Stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. Slamfire Radio is a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. The coffee is roasted in small batches and is quite honestly some of the best coffee you can get your hands on. Send it to your house by going to boltactioncoffee.com and using discount code SLAMFIRE. New gun stuff. There's a couple in here. The one that was kind of interesting, Beretta's BRX1 is a straight pull bolt action rifle, I guess, from Beretta.
Straight action bolt.
Straight pull bolt action.
Straight pull.
When you watch a video that like there's at first when they mention it, I'm like, big deal. Who cares? There's lots of another fancy European straight pull that I don't care about. But
That like
the
a
way that they
T-bolt
just
then, or
well, it actually uses an AR style rotating bolt for the bolt head, which is interesting, and it's hammer fired. That's weird. Because like most bolt actions are striker fired, not hammer fired.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, they use a hammer. Yeah, and they probably use like a straight up AR bolt in there, and they just built their own BCG that you just rack back and forth kind of a thing.
interesting.
They found a way to take an AR and make it bolt action only. I'd imagine. I don't know.
Hey Mo, blink for us. Move.
I have been moving.
Wait. I got something I know Mo is interested in.
Yeah.
SA-35.
Yes. Yes. Show her up.
Wait. There we go. There's the SA-35. It's a high power.
Yep.
It's a high power by Springfield. They've got a couple of things that they've modernized in it. They didn't put a magazine disconnect in it, which is good because those are really stupid. And they say factory tune trigger with a smooth pull and crisp, clean break. Improved feed ramp, improved ergonomics, and enhanced controls, modern sights. All good things.
I gotta ask one question though.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna clone a gun, why clone a high power?
Like, I mean, it's good. It's a great question. Fantastic question.
Mm-hmm.
There's some like
I mean,
high
it sounds
power
like they changed
aficionados
quite
that
a
are
bit
listening.
in it, but why?
Well, okay. What if you really like the 1911, but you just kind of want something that's double stack?
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause it's kind of like
Double
the
stack 1911?
I guess. I mean, this was the Wonder 9 of its day, but it has been eclipsed by modern technology. Sean's mentioning that a lot of people in the States carry a high power. I have no idea
That's
why.
true.
This would be a terrible gun to carry. It's just-
Yes, there's also a lot of people in the U.S. that carry high points as well, and those
or
ones-
1911s or Desert Eagles, or I mean, I guess if
Whatever
you
they
got freedom,
can fit on their hip, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna max out that freedom, do whatever you want.
Desert Eagle carry. Wow. Okay.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, I imagine
If
there
you
are people
could,
there
would
that
you?
do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, so here's one thought. What if you want a high power
would be
and you want something that's new and not old, but you want a high power? What are your options? Not really a lot. I think there aren't there a couple of there's a couple of clones out there. Not great ones. And I mean, I don't really like have a whole lot of respect for Springfield as in terms of like a firearms company, but maybe this one's all right. Maybe this gun's all right.
I'd be interested in trying it.
Mm-hmm.
Sean's talking about buying a Canuck high power.
Yeah, see, there's a clone, and that's
Canucks are-
probably Turkish or something, right?
Yes, it is, and it's not bad. Trigger is a little. Shot at the Odell Industry Days. I had a lot of fun shooting it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of neat. The next one is let me get it into the right tab. There we go. The Jard J180. The reports are coming in on these. There's a couple of interesting things. Interesting? Yeah. Weird. There's a couple of weird things on this gun.
What's going on?
One, look at that buffer tube. It's not in line with the bolt. It's lower. So you can't use a reaction rod to put the barrel on, because if you put it through the hole in the back there, it doesn't line up. And you can't use a bev block either. So you got to use something else, either a barrel block or make your own clamp for the upper or something like that.
Oh,
That's kind of weird.
Just clap it in the vise and go.
Just clamp it. Just use some like rubber or something in there so you don't mar it, and just send it. That's probably what I would do, actually. The forend rail, it's hard to see here, but the forend rail, it sits a little bit lower than the receiver rail. So you wouldn't be able to use
I see that too.
backup iron sights. And then this is probably the most atrocious thing that's going on in here.
Yeah.
These screws. What do you think those screws are doing? They're stopping the magazine. They stop the magazine from over inserting.
Yeah.
That is
Concerning.
disgusting.
Yep.
Oh dear.
I like giving people the benefit of the doubt. No benefit of the doubt here. It was a bad design.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Putting
instead of
screws
doing
there.
work on your mag release to ensure that, we just add another thing in there to wear.
It's a butcher job.
Yeah,
2.0. That's the new
Yeah.
one.
that's fine. That's fine. It
That's fine.
rams the brass off the charging handle. Whatever. That's fine.
I agree
Yeah.
with Sean.
Yeah.
Sean says ew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'm looking
mean-
forward to all the 180s coming out, but there's like those screws were one that I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, that's that. The trigger that it comes with is supposed to be fantastic. Jard does make a decent AR trigger, and it comes with the rifle. So I guess you wouldn't need to, like with a lot of the other 180s, you take the trigger that came with it and you promptly drop it into the garbage and put in something decent. You wouldn't have to with this one. It comes with a good trigger. So
Okay.
I guess that's one thing that would save you some money. Just let me use my AR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
No. 180s.
Maybe the new safety minister will allow it, so we'll see.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
All right.
Why don't we get into our main topic? So for today, for our main topic, we're talking about layering on safety. And
Why would we want to talk about that, Adrian?
we'll get to it at the end. We'll get to it at
okay.
the end.
All
yeah,
right.
it'll be a full breakdown of layers of safety and why they would stop a safety concern from happening. Why don't we start off with basic rules for safety? What are the most basic rules that you guys follow? Mo?
I think the most important one is always assume a firearm is loaded, because that one, if you go to pick up a gun, if you make that assumption, you're always going to do the right things to make sure that it's not right. So to me, that one is like the number one, even more important than the pointing in the right direction, because you're going to do that stuff anyways after.
Mhm.
But I'm going to make sure that this gun is not loaded.
Okay.
Right?
Go Mo with going right to the
So I'll
root of it.
always assume that any firearm is loaded.
Loaded, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
You have-
So that's rule number one of Colonel Cooper's four
Yeah,
basic
it's
rules
for a
of gun
reason. It's
safety.
number one.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing the same thing, but I had different words where I was going straight to I don't point the muzzle anywhere that I not want to destroy anything, and that finger's off the trigger until I'm ready to pull the trigger.
Mhm.
Those are the ones I live by. Kind of same thing as
Just add
assume
one
it's
more and you
loaded,
got all
but-
four. You're almost there, Kyle. You're almost there. So, because Colonel Cooper's four rules are guns not loaded. Don't let the
Yeah.
muzzle cover something you don't want to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target, and then identify your target and what's behind it. Make
Yep.
sure you know. like,
and
the
all
foreground, background.
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
good rules.
Mhm.
Good basic ones.
And if you follow them, nothing bad should happen. Right.
Mhm. I
Shouldn't be
trust
bad.
one of the other ones that it's really good is don't trust anybody. I trust no one.
You get handed a firearm, you just like you're
Okay.
taught in your PAL course, you check,
Check
it.
it. Check
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't say, somebody else says to you, I checked it. No, you still check it.
Yeah.
You still check
You
it.
you confirm.
Even if it was Adriel,
Anybody.
I'd still check it.
Even if it was April.
Especially.
Yes.
Especially if it's
It could be Adriel. It could be
Okay.
9mm.
it
Always.
could be
loaded.
Jerry Mitchell,
Safety off.
and I'm still gonna
Yeah.
check it. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got our basic rules. What about one of the things that I thought would be interesting was identify how rules are added on or removed depending on the situation, because things change based on how many people have loaded firearms, where they're with those loaded firearms, and what activity you guys are the people are getting into. So, what do you guys do while you're hunting? What rules do you follow? What condition do you hold your firearm in? And what kind of like basic axioms do you go by?
okay, well,
Kelly,
I guess
you're gonna. Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
so. Hunting. If I'm walking around the bush, and say it's a rifle, I will have a round in the chamber, but it will be decocked because I shoot a bolt action for hunting. So if you keep your bolt up, you can pull the trigger as you close the bolt, and it will not. Your striker will not cock. It will be decocked. You actually have to cycle the bolt up and down to charge that.
I don't do that.
So that when I'm walking through the bush, usually I'm with somebody, and if it's my coyote gun, it's got a super light trigger on it. So that's what I do with that, and it's nothing to cycle that bolt. If I'm sitting in a stand, okay, I get in my stand, I get situated, I will then not chamber, I will actually arm the gun, keep it on safe,
Cock it. Yeah.
and cock it. Yeah.
Interesting.
So-
Okay, that's not what I expected. Kelly, what do you do when you're hunting? What condition do you put your firearm in?
Well, actually, while I'm traveling to whatever area I'm going to be going to, I don't actually have anything. I don't have it loaded.
Mhm.
Once I get to the location where I'm going to be going, I will have it. I will actually have it loaded. I will have the safety on. I'm one of those. The other thing is, I also want to make sure I know where the other people I'm hunting with are as well. Make sure that I'm aware of where they are, and so that I'm not going to cross streams with them, or not going to actually
Cross
shoot.
streams is a Ghostbusters thing. Guns can shoot.
Yeah, I know.
This way, it's fine.
But you know what I mean.
Cause a
I'm not going to
corridor or
actually
anything
hit them,
like that.
whether it's with pellets or even with a rifle, whatever.
So you have like your sectors kind of a thing.
Yeah,
You make
sectors set out. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm aware of where everybody is as well. So
Awesome. Yeah. Mike was commenting, mag in, no round in the chamber till I'm about to fire. Okay.
Okay.
Like if I'm going into a field and there may be deer in there, I'm going to hike out to my shooting spot. I load my gun up, safety on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I've gotten so many deer where I'm walking out. I'm like, oh crap, there's a deer 50 meters in front of me. Flick off the safety, which is quiet, and I take my shot. And while I'm hiking out, if I'm hiking out with someone else, I still do the same thing. I still load my firearm up, safety on, and muzzle never gets anywhere close to the other person I'm next to.
Okay.
So that means that that limits what ways you can carry your rifle. So you can carry it like muzzle down. You can carry it holding the receiver. You can carry it slung, but you can't do anything where the muzzle is going to be anywhere close to the person that you're going to be next to.
Yep.
If one person's righty and one person's lefty, fantastic, because then you can do the pointing the opposite directions, right?
Yeah, and I guess I didn't mention the muzzle control or the triggering control. Whenever I have a firearm in my hands, that's what I do. I actually get pissed off at my hunting partner, which sometimes it's amazing he's still my hunting partner, because we'll be out there grouse shooting, grouse hunting, and he'll flag me with a shotgun. I'll be like, dude.
So how do you carry it? How do you carry it? Do you cradle or do you?
Depends. I actually have a backpack that it can sit in. So if we're on a hike, it's there. I can pull on my shoulder strap and it comes out and I can bring it out. If not, I'll go from just a shoulder carry, or I will cradle it where my thumb will actually be over the bolt, covering the trigger guard. It's just comfortable. I can just cradle it that way in my arm, thumb on the bolt, covering that trigger guard. And like I said, I do walk not cocked because, oh, there's a deer. I as I'm shouldering it, I can have that cocked and armed and
You can
ready
get
to
it
go.
ready, right? Yeah.
So
I like to make the least amount of noise possible. So that's why I
I'm
just-
noisy as hell. I usually trip. So I know what my limitations are, and I also know if
Yeah.
I'm doing it with somebody else, I'm going to, like, if I have my shotgun, I'll have it broken open and cradling it, because I know I'm actually having to get to the point where I'm going to be getting settled into. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm the same way. I'm not an experienced hunter, so I'd prefer to walk it through the woods empty and then get to my spot like everybody's laid out. And again, I know what my lines are, and then I'll load it and get it ready and stuff. So I'm just more comfortable that way so far than
Yeah.
I've done it.
I'll have
Nothing
people
wrong with
yelling.
that.
Yeah, and I'll have people yelling at me, Kelly, and I'm going, just hold on, they're not waiting for you. And I go, I know. And then bang. Okay.
Yeah,
True.
I think that's that's about it. Is there anything else to talk about for hunting for safety?
I would say just like if you're crossing fences or whatever, like it's
Yeah.
same thing.
Unload. Yeah.
Unload.
So while
and if you
I
have to
run,
cross a fence, you know what? Find a fence post, take your rifle, put it on the opposite side of the fence, lean it up against the fence post, crawl through the fence, grab your rifle, and go. Don't try and shimmy your way through a barbed wire fence or
Yeah.
whatever with a rifle slung on your back or trying to. No, you just ask. Guess what? You're
Throw
not
it
going
up
to
in
shoot
the air,
anything as you
step
traverse
over.
that fence.
Just throw it.
So put your gun down, get through the fence, pick up your gun. There you go.
Gun in the air, somersault, and then catch and land.
You must have been
Yeah.
following me when I go getting to my hunting location, because it's like tuck and roll. Get up. We're good.
hey
Sure.
Dustin, how's it going?
Hello, everybody. Going well. Can you hear me all right?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, good. I was fighting with my audio. So you guys are talking about this, and I wanted to talk about it because I just about made a video about this. So it's so infuriating.
Okay.
All right. So anybody that doesn't know, I'm a prop master and armorer in Vancouver. I deal with guns, and all guns are prop guns, by the way. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. You guys are talking about safety, and specifically in regards to like, oh well, he should have checked that the gun was loaded, right?
Yeah.
And that's completely fair. So odds are, I don't have a single action revolver in front of me, but I have a not single action revolver. It's a double action
Double
GP
single.
100, but same sort of concept. So if I hand an actor a gun, call it a cold gun. Now that's my job, right? It's my job to safe and clear those guns before they go into an actor's hands. So with a revolver, we have to load something in the guns, right? So pardon me, I'm going to point a gun at you guys now. So you can see that gun looks loaded, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, and even more so, that gun looks very loaded, right?
Mm.
Yep.
I did not break the law. These are dummy rounds. These are camera dummies. This is specifically. So they look real, right? It's a real projectile, real case, dewadded primer, but unstruck primer, right? So odds are this is probably what happened. The difference between this thing, I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yeah.
You guys hear that? Okay, so we put a ball bearing inside of every one of these so that we can check every round before we put it into the gun to know that that is
Smart.
not a live round, right? So now, traditionally, what we would do in a scene like these I'm really careful about. I don't put ones with unstruck primers in the gun unless I really need to because I don't like it at all. So traditionally, what we'll do is ones with struck primers, right? So same deal, ball bearing, looks real. I can load this into a gun, and we'll put 6 of them into a gun after we've cleared and saved it, right? Check the chamber, check the barrel, then I'll load the gun. Bear with me while I do this because I'm try and go a little bit faster than I usually do on set.
I've played a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. Usually my guy loads a lot faster than this.
There's one thing on a film set though, like we don't go fast with guns.
Yeah.
Unless we have to, right? Like
No,
this
absolutely.
is the reality. Obviously, there was lots of other issues with that film set, but anyways, so here we have a gun. I'll load the gun with open action. Will come to set with me together with the actor and the AD. By the way, the AD had no business handling that firearm at any point. That's not their job. They shouldn't have been handling it. But once, we'll roll up with this gun. Okay, so we've loaded dummies in this gun. And, with a gun like this, we can see, okay, these are all struck primers. Nonetheless, once we close the action, and I'll let the actor do it too, but I'll do it first. Just if we're going to have an ND, it should be my fault, not the actor's fault.
Yeah.
And 7 times into the ground, somewhere that's going to be safe. And if it's a 6-cylinder revolver, I'm going to pull that trigger 7 times. And if the actor wants to do it, I'm going to let him pull it 7 times before that gun gets pointed at anything or anybody, right? That's how on-set firearm safety procedure is supposed to be done, right? Shouldn't be an AD saying, "Here, cold gun." That's a thing. It's fair to say, yeah, well, Baldwin should have checked his gun, man. But the gun was loaded and it looked loaded, right? Him checking the gun wouldn't have helped. And because it's a single action, with a loading gate, he's not going to pull 6 rounds out, rattle check them himself and load them back in. That is actually our job. It's our job to do that. So that was the biggest upset. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, especially in the gun community. Obviously, still, we don't point guns at people unless you absolutely have to. I won't talk about that side of things, but it would have been a really easy mistake to, be handed a gun. You've been told it's a cold gun that looks loaded, and the other stupidity that happened. So sorry, I just wanted to pop on and say that because
we have a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
So because we are the firearms industry, right? Or we are firearms owners, and we are super safe, obviously. So Sean wants to know what's the procedure to use with blanks. Is there a different procedure with blanks versus dummy rounds?
Yeah, well, so the procedure for blanks. So the blanks go into the gun, the very last thing. If we can at all help it, we'll get them all set up and give them either a rubber or a cleared empty gun for all the camera stuff. The very last thing I'll ever do is hand an actor a loaded gun, even with blanks. Blanks can still kill. Blanks can still hurt. They're dangerous. So usually the procedure is we'll get all the camera stuff set up. Usually I'll get your actor practicing with a dummy gun, a rubber. I felt so bad the last show I did. I started doing something new. I actually ripped apart an old soldering gun and I put a tennis ball on the end of it, and that is now my actor's camera weapon of choice. They don't get a say. Nobody's going to get upset about this orange fluffy ball, but it works for camera. It lets them pick up their because people don't understand. There's you've got a camera assist who's going to be measuring the distance between that gun and the camera, and they're going to be pulling focus to that. All these things. There's lots of reasons to see a gun pointed on set, but there are solutions that don't involve pointing a loaded firearm at someone, let alone pulling a trigger. But yeah, and so we'll do all of these things, and once everything is set, I'll be off to the side, off camera somewhere. I've got my little hip bags, and I'll have my gun loaded and ready. And then with however many rounds we need, they don't get any more. So if there's going to be 2 trigger pulls, well, there's 2 dummies in that gun, and then everything else is chambering dummies, rounds that won't go off, right? So if I know it's going to go bang bang, and even if they're not going to pull the trigger again, maybe they will. Who knows? I want to be accountable for every round. So 2 rounds go in, everything else is chambering dummies. Close the gun, hot gun on set. At that point, I'm in charge. And I hand the gun to the actor. They do their shot. Once they call cut, nobody moves until I go in, relieve the actor of that gun, open it, clear and safe on set, and then everybody can do their work. That's how we do every single blank fire, every time. That's how you keep people safe.
Okay.
So can I ask a question that goes into a little bit more depth with the blanks? Is there a chamber check before you load the blanks into the gun?
Oh yeah, we check the chamber all the time. You see me off camera somewhere because so this is the other thing is that people don't realize we'll have at least so if I've got an actor with a gun, I have another one of those guns. on me. Right, so I usually at least one. I look like a, well, you guys will know. So I actually do a couple of mag pouches, like the dump pouches for mags, like the big round dump pouches. So I look like a goofball, but I got 2 of those on a tactical belt and like a tool kit on the small of my back, and so like those are my dump pouches. Gun goes in here, stuff goes in here, and then like I kind of got everything prepped in my other one. So I'm going to be sitting there prepping and clearing this gun. So, we'll check the chamber, check everything. We're going to make sure there's nothing down the barrel. The thing with semi-automatics, anything that uses any kind of gas operation or any kind of blowback action, the gun is going to be threaded, and we'll have a constrictor down the barrel. So I'm going to be sitting there with my little Allen key wrench, making sure that constrictor is as tight as it's ever been. Doesn't matter that it's halfway down the barrel and a lot of things got to go wrong for it to work its way out. Every take, I'm sitting there doing that, checking, okay, there's nothing in this barrel that could ever even possibly be a projectile. Great. Then I'll have the mags loaded, and then the same thing. That gun doesn't get loaded until the very last thing. I'm going to have my mags loaded in one pouch, gun sitting in the other, clear and safe. And I'll do that 100 times a day. It doesn't hurt at all to be extra safe. It's not unusual to see me sitting there offset, just like checking the guns, making sure that they're fine, because that's how people don't get hurt.
Okay. Well, this is actually a question that specifically talks to Travis Lee asks, is there a possibility the chamber was checked, but the expectation bias took over, and since this is such a repetitive task?
All right. So like I've been on these sets. I know what a budget is like.
Yeah.
I promise you that they hired somebody who was underqualified and inexperienced, and she didn't do her job and let somebody else who kind of I'm going to throw the AD under the bus a little bit. I'm going to guess I'm never going to work with him, who is probably barking at her because everything's got to be done right now. We're on the clock, we got to go now, right? So I'm going to assume that there was a big part of the hiccup was just a time component. I think those guns got probably checked one time. It sounds like that gun didn't get checked at all because they were shooting with it earlier in the day, which is
right.
Yeah.
Let's talk that. Do you bring live ammo on set, like actual rounds?
No, it's a criminal offense in Canada. It goes directly against any armorer who's got like their firearms business license. It'll tell you right on the license, you cannot have live ammunition with these guns on set. It is against the law. Pulled my license. There's criminal charges. I can't speak to what the rules are in the States. I've obviously this is a small community, like they've all been talking since this, and like
yes.
I've had my mind blown about like just the state of things down there, because like it's odds are a crew of 150 people, probably 10-15% of them got guns in the car at the very least, right?
Yep.
So it's not unusual.
True.
The idea that, like, they, and they're out in the desert, they went plinking. I get that. I've been out on like away shows where we're out in the middle of nowhere. I've brought guns to away shows out in the middle of nowhere. I have rules. There are no live, and there's never a single live round ever comes to the prop truck, right? So everything kind of like lands on the prop truck. That's where your guns go. Everything gets stored either in the safe on the prop truck, or you're going to have like a safe storage set up specifically for the guns, right? And your first level of protection is there's no live ammunition on the prop truck ever. Zero tolerance for it, doesn't happen, right? So that, already, even though like I can look at those bullets sitting on the prop truck and I'm like, odds are those are real, but I'm still going to do that, right? But at the same time, I've been on sets and I've where somebody had some ammo and they're dressing in a set, and you're like, just for fun, like I'll see bullets on a desk or something like that, and you go like, pick one up. Shake
it. Have it.
Oh, that doesn't. No, we're gonna get rid of those right now before because you don't know. It's odds are it's probably just like a dummy that someone's loaded that has nothing in it, but we don't know, right? So,
well, I guess that was. Sorry, Kelly.
No, go ahead. I'll save my question until you're done because I have lots. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess that was kind of more on I had a question on enforcement and like, okay, not on the blanks, but okay, you give an actor a gun. What's the enforcement of that they don't have, and of course this is like way outlandish, but that they don't have live rounds in their pocket? Like how much time alone do they have with that firearm?
I won't hand an actor a gun that I'm not in a line of sight with at all times. It's, again, I mean, at least in the Canadian context, that falls into that realm of like, I still need to be directly supervising them. Odds are that actor doesn't have a firearms license.
Yep.
That gun is out under my name. I am responsible for it, and as such, it doesn't leave my line of sight. I might get out of the way, for a camera. Like I've had times where I've had to like just step out of the way, so I'm not, and maybe I'm not for a second in direct line of sight of it while the action's going off.
Mhm.
But I am within as close to immediate control as possible at all times, right?
Mhm.
You don't leave actors alone with guns. They're children.
Okay.
I
my-
could believe that.
Well,
So-
it's delegation of responsibility, right? Like the
Yeah.
actor's responsible for getting the take right, not for checking the gun or doing all these other things.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
you
there
hire
were-
someone specifically for that to do that job.
Alec Baldwin is anti-gun, man. He you don't get much more anti-gun than the guy. So is it fair to expect him to be a firearms expert because he's shooting a gun in a show? No, it's no
Mhm.
more fair than expecting anybody I've ever taken to the range to be a firearms expert before I put a gun in their hand. They're
But-
relying on me the same way.
But I'll push back on that.
Hmm?
And the reason is because Alec Baldwin, this isn't his first rodeo with respect to firearms. He's been in a lot of movies that he's shot.
The fact that he was the producer,
and also the
it's a
producer
little bit of the
as well.
responsibility on his end. Yeah. a little bit.
Yeah,
It's still the armorer's responsibility to.
But I will push
Yeah.
back on that as well. Okay, so Dustin, you are both a prop master and an armorer.
Yep.
Do you do both roles at once, or
depends on the show. All right. So like, for instance, I'm just gearing up next week. I'm going to be away for a month, just armorer gig, right? For a series. If I'm doing a show, if I'm like prop master for a show, and maybe we light off a couple of blanks, like there's going to be one gun, we're going to have 2 rounds, one day, bang, bang, that's it. I've done those shows. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm licensed for it. It's fine. It doesn't require a whole bunch of my focus. I can tell my team, hey, this day I'm armorer. So I up until that point,
okay?
and then that day, that's my only job. Don't bother me. I'm focused on guns and making sure no one gets hurt. But if there's lots of guns, like the show I'm about to go on to, if there's lots of guns, requires lots of focus, no, you hire someone for that. That's what the armor is there for. My only job on this show for the next month is just firearms.
Okay. So that's what was taking place. Apparently, she was both the prop master as well as and it's a Western. I would assume there's more than one day with firearms.
Yeah,
Right.
I've read some interviews with some with a particular prop master that turned the gig down. And again, like I know I've been on these low budget shows. I know that they're chasing after every penny, and any opportunity to not hire an extra person, they will.
Yeah.
And so like that's probably what happened, right?
Yeah.
They didn't hire someone because it was cheaper, and this girl could do the job. And I'm not sure what the licensing requirements are in the States. I think they're probably less so than here,
Probably.
right? So
Well, this is her
Probably
second
still
gig.
insurance. Like you
Yeah.
probably still need to be
Yeah.
insured, and there's probably some prerequisites to like process to be insured for that kind of thing.
I just
imagine.
like maybe like I guess her dad is a pretty well-known armorer, like because this is her second job, right? Like
Right.
I'm upset as a prop master, her calling herself a prop master. I've been doing that job for 10 years. I know I've got the same colorful hair that she does, and that's been just great for me. But but I've been doing the job for 10 years. I've got over 30 credits, and I can call myself that. I can call myself an armorer. I feel fine doing that. But she had no business calling herself either of those jobs.
The experience. By the way, Sean loves that the way that you handle your business. You're the boss, not the actor.
Yeah.
So you're in charge of everything. And
When the guns come out, especially if there's any kind of live fire, I'm in charge. I don't care. I'll fight. I had one show. There was one series earlier when I was a little younger, and it was one of those shows where I was prop master and armorer. We were only doing a little bit of gunfire, and I had a director that she decided she wanted an actor to point a blank gun at another actor in a way that was not going to be safe, and there was no way for her to achieve this shot safely. Like our job, like the other job as an armorer, is to like help you achieve a shot that you want without putting anybody in danger. So like rule of thumb, with blank fire, minimum of a meter distance between where that gun is pointed and anything living,
Mhm.
right? Minimum of a meter. If you can do 2, great. And usually you can cheat up to 2 meters without ever noticing, right? With the right camera angle. This director fought me, and she thought she was going to win. And I was like, that's fine. I can leave. She's like, well, you can leave. You can quit. I'll fire you right now, but you leave the guns. And I was like, oh, no. The guns come with me. Those are rented under my license. Do you have a firearms business license? No. that's okay. I'll leave now. And thankfully, like I had a production manager who obviously had my back. They don't need the insurance liability of doing something dangerous, right? So I say, hey, the director wants me to do something dangerous, and I've told her I will leave. He's like, please don't leave. Don't do anything dangerous. What she's asking you to do is illegal. I'm like, I'm aware. So, but again, if you're new and you're young and you're either willing to make some of those like sacrifices to do the job, to like get those titles, or just because you're afraid to stand up for yourself. Like, I think there's a lot of those things that happened, right?
Intimidation.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like there was multiple failings. It's not just on one person. There was multiple failings throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was multiple failings just on that in that one incident, right? So you have to understand that, like, we put a lot of effort into making sure something like this never happens, right? Even the Brandon Lee thing wasn't this. A live round found its way into a gun and was used to shoot someone. I don't actually think I've ever heard of that happening before. And you have to understand the amount of safety protocols that were completely ignored for that to happen are so huge. Everybody in the prop industry, we've all been talking about it. Like, how does this even occur? Like, the breakdown of safety, it started the second those guns left wherever they were being stored, and it just perpetuated like dominoes. They all fell from there.
I think that it started even before that, because there was 3 previous NDs.
That's wild too. I've been on sets with NDs before. We actually I was on a budget show when I was younger. We fired an armorer who was like a budget armorer because he was busy talking and left a loaded gun in an actor's hand, and the actor had to go off, and that's still an ND, and nobody got hurt, but.
That's a blank, right? So when we're saying NDs, just
that's a blank round. That wasn't a live round, right? So basically, what happened in that situation, right, is armor puts the machine gun, and it was Army boy scene, and they go do. I think they were doing a shoot house sequence or whatnot. So machine gun blast, and we call cut, and we do that scene a couple of times, and then it's time to turn the camera around. Well, a camera turnaround is about a half hour, right? So there's about a half hour of downtime. The very first thing, the second that camera calls cut, the armor should be doing is going and taking those guns, right? I was a little green.
Clearing them.
Yeah, I was a little green at the time, right? I was a little younger, and like I knew this, but I'm letting him do his job, and I realized that he was not doing that job. He was busy chatting with someone while the camera's turning around. He just left the guns in the actor's hands, and the actor didn't really think about the fact he had a loaded gun in his hand. It was pointed down, thankfully, and bang, bang, a couple of shots go off, and that was that guy's last day on set, the armorer. Yeah.
Took over?
I took over for the rest of that show kind of begrudgingly, and that was my little trial by fire. That scared me. Having an ND on your set, that's like I'm getting anxiety thinking about it, right? That's scary. That shouldn't happen. So
what do you think? You said that the AD called cold gun. So let's talk about specifically what a cold gun is, and it was for a rehearsal as opposed to an actual filming. So he took it off of. So the AD is the one that gave him the firearm.
Already, this is wrong.
Okay, let's walk us through it.
Something's gone wrong from there, right? Like, the AD has no business touching the firearms ever. Is the AD an actor? Is the AD a member of the props team? No. If the answer to both of those questions is no, he has no business touching the guns. I absolutely clear the gun with them. Like I do. Every take, a good AD will be there looking in the chamber, making sure, verifying that those guns are clear, right? That's a good AD. A bad AD is handing an uncleared gun to an actor saying it's cold without anybody having verified it, right? So, like, I can give you guys like kind of a walkthrough of what happens. So, start a day. Like, let's say we know scene 12 is coming up. Alec Baldwin's going to be playing with his revolver. Okay, so before scene 12 happens, let's say they're still shooting scene 11. Okay, let's get the guns unlocked. So we'll go to the safe, pull the guns out of the safe, and first thing that happens while we're on the prop truck, let's safe and clear them, right? So obviously they're going to be stored legally, like in Canada they have to be. So completely unloaded, trigger locked in a locked safe. That's like, even though we use a safe, I still demand that my all my guns be trigger locked inside the safe. It's just an extra thing. So we'll unlock them, prove them safe and clear. Great. Okay, let's trigger lock it. Let's put it in its own little gun case. Let's lock that. Let's take that gun case to set. So now that's our like chain of evidence, if you will. That safe and clear gun has made its way to set. And on my on my prop truck, I also have a little sign out book. Anybody that takes a gun out of the safe, you put the serial number, you put the time, you put who you are, and you are now responsible for that gun. Until that gun comes back, you are responsible for it. If it's me, if it's one of my onset guys, that's that's the very start. You're responsible for that from that point on, right? Anyway, so you take that gun to set. And now you're usually going to have an onset who's going to be actually dealing with the actors, and then you'll have your onset armorer. So that gun will come to set. That gun is that armorer's responsibility now. Okay, so they're going to do the same thing. They're going to open that, unlock that case, unlock the gun. We're going to prove it, safe and clear. Awesome. Now we get into so now we need to load the gun because we're going to do dummies. We're going to be seeing the chamber. Okay, so if we're not seeing the actor loading the gun, there's absolutely no reason for us to ever need unstruck primers. Let's load the struck primers into the gun. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing one at a time. Rattle, load into the gun. Rattle, load into the gun. Okay, we got all 6 rounds in. We can see we've got six struck primers. There's nobody around. Let's just do a quick safety check right here and pull the trigger 7 times into the ground. Okay, we're good. All right, good. Now let's go have a conversation with our actor and our AD. So we're going to walk through those same steps with the actor and the AD. Okay, this gun, we've got it loaded with dummy blanks here, or sorry, not with blanks, with dummy rounds. Struck primers. This is like the one step where if it's like a single action, I'll probably load them before we'll go through that. Otherwise, we'll safe and clear the gun beforehand, right?
Okay.
But we'll do the same thing. And then we will, with the actor there, pull the trigger 7 times into the ground. If the actor wants to do it, go for it. And now that's a cold gun. We can call that a cold gun, and then that'll go out over the walkie, cold gun on set. So we all have walkies. We can all hear when there's a hot gun, when there's a cold gun, so you're just aware of what's going on right now. All the channels will get, if there's a hot gun, if we're doing live fire, that's going to get called out on all the channels for obvious reasons, right? But you also, anytime there's a gun on set, you want to know there's a gun on set so that nobody freaks out, right? These are all important things. And then obviously the other thing that I'm missing, we have a safety meeting every morning, or at least they're supposed to be. Apparently the set didn't have them. At the very start of the day, when you talk about today's work, because we get, our call sheet, we know what we're working on today. The very start of the day, we're going to talk about, okay, scene 11, we're doing live fire. Here's our safety procedures. Anybody has any questions, comments, you feel free to talk to me at any point. Anybody who feels unsafe, you say something. That's the first point where we bring this stuff up. I can't believe that they were plinking with these guns over lunchtime. Don't get me wrong. Like I know that guns like that some of these prop guns can be used for that, especially revolvers. They don't need to be constricted in any way, so they're fully functional firearms, right? Same with anything manually operated. You see a pump action shotgun or bolt action rifle on camera, odds are that's a fully functional gun. And odds are maybe it's had rounds put through it at some point, but those rounds should never be on set ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't had a chance to rant to like other people about.
Do you feel better now?
No.
Yeah. So, you came on, you were watching, I'm going, there's Dustin. Dustin should be on this. And you've been on the show several times, and you talked about being an armorer as well. So,
yeah.
And it's important because, again, we're gun owners. We're super safe. We would probably, let's say, I'm not saying we would probably never encounter this, or because we go through everything the way that we go through it, and inexperienced people don't. And
has to be layered on. It's just like people working in the oil and gas industry. They do the same thing. They do a safety meeting in the morning. Yeah. They have very strict policies they go through because otherwise people die. You have to follow. You have to layer on the safety, and you have to follow the rules.
I can't fathom a good reason for this gun to have been pointed at that DP. Regardless, like again, this was a camera test. There was no reason for that gun to be pointed at her. There's no reason to pull the trigger. I get it. It sounds like he was being funny or something. Like this is rule number 1 on set too. And this is like, I've told people this. I've had this like conversation in text many times. Rule number 1 with all firearms on set, doesn't matter if it's made out of rubber. You assume that gun is real, it is loaded, and it is dangerous. And it's the second that you start from there, and my whole team knows that, anybody that works for me knows that, the second that is where you start, and you work from there, And you're right. Average law-abiding gun owner, this wouldn't happen to, because they wouldn't have, regardless of how safe that gun was supposedly, they wouldn't have pointed it at her.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe if it was had a rubber tennis ball at the end and it was a welding,
Soldering handle.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's gonna make fun of me for that anymore. Our last actor, I won't say who he was because the movie's not out yet. He's pretty well known actor. He wasn't happy with me when we put that in his hand. I'm like, I get it, but nobody's uncomfortable with it, and all the camera stuff can be done, and we'll put the real gun in your hand when it needs to be there, and it's just an added level of safety, right? I'm not part of the camp of ban all live guns on set. Live guns look good on set. And there's a lot of cases I think they're going to paint themselves into a corner if they actually try pulling that, especially in the States, because there's a lot of stuff you can't fake well. There's not a lot of good cowboy action revolvers. You want to talk about cowboy movies without real guns? Good luck.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to ask you about so you and the rest of the prop masters and the armorers, you've been chatting, obviously. So what are some of the implications and what's the blowback then? Because we've seen it with the Rookie. They're using air guns.
Yeah, gas guns. So gas guns are pretty common. They're dewadded airsoft guns, right? Yeah. So, they'll still function, but they won't fire a projectile anymore. The nice thing about that is, right, you can literally put them up to your face, pull the trigger if you want, and you're not going to cause any damage. So there's some benefits there. The show we're doing almost exclusively gas guns because of the location. The location doesn't want us to do live fire. And so, that's fine. At least you get a little bit of the recoil. I feel very bad. So there's a kind of main armor company in town here with it's Candyland there, and I walked into there the day after this happened. I was planning on pulling guns for my show, and I went a couple days. As soon as this happened, I was like, oh no, I was going to do that next week. I'm going to do that right now, and because their phone wouldn't quit ringing. While I was there, I swear to God, that phone rung probably 30 times, and big shows who are like, no, we were doing live fire and we are not now. We're going to be transferring out all of our stuff for, replicas, gas guns, anything that we can. There's some big name shows that are doing that. And I feel really the reality is, give it a couple of years and it'll be probably better. We probably won't, we'll probably have live fire again. There's going to be a lot of gas guns on shows for the next couple of years. So brace yourselves for some pretty crappy recoil. A lot of actors shoot machine guns with no recoil and nothing coming out the side, and it's going to drive us all wild.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some big shows. It's sad and unfortunate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come on and take over your show or anything.
This is awesome though.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. No. A couple of people are asking what shows are you
can't talk about
shows are you can't talk about it. So
we won't tell anyone. Go ahead.
No, praise yourself. I won't do that. I won't talk about specifics. I can't talk about that. I won't even talk about my own show if it's not out yet. I won't talk about it. But cool. But there's some big shows, some shows that people are shows I was excited for. There's some stuff where I'm like, oh no, they're doing that. That's awful. I don't watch a lot of those cop procedural stuff. Anything that's filmed in New York is already done that way. And, so there's some big shows coming and it's sad. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for him?
No, I was worrying about how we'd cover the Baldwin thing and whether how we'd be able to talk through it. And
you bring our buddy Dustin on.
Better having an expert on.
Yeah, really. I happened to be looking on. I was like, oh, they're talking about safety on. Oh, yeah. No, I'm gonna make a comment right now and be like, you know somebody we could have posted.
Triggered me. I went, what's this legend? Okay, you want to be on?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for coming and just randomly taking over a bit, but nice to see you guys. Yeah,
I should have reached out to you.
Yeah, well, it worked out. I was home.
There's a lot of good information there.
Yeah. Well, and again, if any, I just want to say, union, there was no union crew. This was this girl's second job probably ever, and I just it's not fair to paint my industry or my profession. I got in an argument with somebody, like a gun owner, a good friend of mine, who's like, there should be no job as a prop master or an armorer. And I'm like, I am going to respectfully disagree with you on that. And here's why. My jobs are important. But, thankfully she had her mind changed at the end. She sent me a nice little private message. She's like, I'm sorry. I maybe, because, it's just some of our community, it's ironic because some of them are coming off a little bit kind of like the anti-gunners when they don't know what they're talking about, and there's a lot of that, right? Like it's easy as a law-abiding gun owner to have like that level of safety that's so drilled into us that we would never let something like this happen. And how dare Alec Baldwin let something like this happen when there's like it's not entirely his fault. So
no,
there's
it's
other
not.
people who are responsible.
There's
for
other
it.
people who are responsible. It's their job to be responsible. It's not his job to be that guy. And especially in the context of like a single action, stupid revolver with a loading gate that like safety checking those things is a pain in the ass and takes time. And somebody should have been just doing that. So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for letting me come on and rant. I'll leave you be now and enjoy watching the rest of the show. So,
All right. Thanks, Dustin.
All right.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Dustin.
Thank you,
See ya.
Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin.
oh, no, wrong. There we go.
Remember when Dustin came on and he was the other Kelly?
No.
That was too long ago. How many episodes ago was that?
I was looking back a while ago and
Mhm.
it popped up like last week and it was the other Kelly, Dustin. That was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came on one night, substituted in for me. Didn't kill him for
Slamfire Flash Black is brought to you by.
doing it.
So some memory. Awesome. So we got some good information on the
That was
safety
great.
procedures on
That
a
was great.
on a movie
We were-
set.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were easing our way into the topic, and I think that
Worked out
eased quite
perfect.
nicely.
Timing was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's cover a couple more of these, and then let's get back to the rest of the show.
Okay.
Dry fire, Mo. You just said that you were dry firing. What's your
So
procedure?
for me, from day one, I dry fire almost every day, and I'm the only one that ever touches my pistol. I take it out of the safe, I put it back, but I always go through the same. I check it every single day,
Mhm.
and then with ammo, I have a couple of dummy mags, and then I also use some dummy rounds too. But again, even if when I go to pick up that mag that has the dummy rounds in, I look at it and I pop a few of them out and I put them back in. I just have this like habit of just always doing that, right? And I know I don't have any live ammo there, but I still go through that because if I'm going to be pointing the gun in my house, I'm going to make sure that there's no chance that thing is loaded. So yeah,
Do
I
you
do
put
that.
them in-
Yeah.
Do you put them in different locations as well? Like this is
No, I have like a little bin. I have a little bin on top of my safe, and I keep my practice stuff all in that
Okay.
bin, right? So
Yeah.
that I know that bin does not have live ammo. So
okay.
I'm
Well,
comfortable.
I was going to actually ask, what do you have for a visual identifier that that's a dummy round, not a live round? Is it just the spent primer, or do you use a different?
No, it's a
colored
red. It's a
projectile,
red.
or-
It's a Tipton.
Yeah, you use the red.
Yeah, the red.
Plastic
Yeah,
ones?
it's very clear. It's very clear that that's not a
I still
real
like
live-
using like the dummies I've got have some weight to it, so I use like a real case, a real bullet, no primer, and drilled inside, and then that way when I put my mag in, I get the full weight of it. Because if you insert an empty mag in some guns, nothing will happen. If you insert a full mag in some guns, some of them will reliably, the slide will go forward, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I like to use that to
Do you
feel
still
it, so.
visually inspect? Each one of them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
me
if
too.
I'm going to dry fire, I'll unload the mag and look at all of the rounds. It won't be loaded anyways. The all my dummy rounds all sit in a box of just dummies. And so if I'm going to load up a mag or something like that, it's just as I'm loading each one of them, I check, make sure that they're empty or there's no primer in them.
Yep.
If I'm dry firing with someone else, we'll do reciprocal. So you clear your stuff, and then I'm going to clear your stuff too. I'll pull the mags right out of the pouch, take a look at them, give me your gun, take a look at that. Your gun's clear, your mags are clear.
Yep.
They'll do the same thing for me,
That's
and it's not that they don't trust me; it's that I
Double
don't trust
redundancy.
anyone. Not even myself.
Adriel, would
Yeah.
you trust me?
I'd still check your gun.
Thank you.
Right answer.
Good answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
like the repercussion of dry fire and having a round go off is you could hurt or kill someone.
Yeah.
You could destroy some property. You could have the cops to your place investigating a round
Yeah.
going off. Do not want that. Do not want that. I
That's
don't know
a
what
lot,
the repercussion of that would be. Can't imagine it would be great.
Yeah.
No good comes out of that. So
Nope. Or I mean, at the very worst, like best, you still have to patch your wall.
Yeah.
Still have to crack out the drywall mud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your roof isn't going to be like quite as waterproof as it was before. Yeah.
With my pistol, I don't use dummy rounds a lot. I did make some up, and I actually had some powder coated bullets, and so like my pistol dummy rounds are actually like nickel plated brass.
So they're different than your regular ones.
They are
yes,
they are completely different. I do leave a spent primer in there because I do like my firing pin coming up on something, not just hitting
Mhm.
free air. So I keep a spent primer in there. But like, and then my shotgun shells is a completely different color that is you have to search to find it. I have black shells that are my dummy rounds. If I had more, I'd make more and sell more, but like I've made them for people and ask, okay, what color are the shells that you normally use? Okay, cool, because I'm not going to sell you that color of shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dummy shot shells are for 3-gun. You need to practice that, and that's
And like with my
common.
shot shells, those ones I actually do load up. No powder. I actually
But
use
lead?
old tumbling media that's
Okay.
too dirty as the powder, and actually put lead shot in there.
so it's got
And
the
so
weight.
they're within a few grains of an actual loaded shell,
Mhm.
and you have the tactile feel of a real shell, spent primer
Weight.
still,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Okay.
and a very
Just
different
say-
looking case.
Yeah.
Yes, very different looking case. And like I said, besides the color and the fact that this got a spent primer in it, those are your indicators. And sometimes I'll put glue up top and put a sticker right on the top of it. So like there's multiple ways to tell that's not a real shell.
One thing I would recommend: don't spray paint them because the paint will just come off. It'll end up in your action, and it's just going to
It's a
gum it up.
mess.
Yeah.
You could drill a hole. You could drill a hole through the case. That's doable. For like a 9mm or something like that, you just pop a hole right
Yeah.
through there. It's fine. It's a really clear
Yeah.
way to see that that's not a regular round.
For sure.
Do you do anything different for dry fire, Kelly?
No, just pick a location that would be. I make sure that there's no ammo for one. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Make sure that it's just dummy rounds as well. The red Tipton. And then the other thing is I choose a location where I know if something does happen, which it's not going to, but I double check everything, obviously. It's just not going to damage anything. So it's my
Basement or something.
It's
Yeah.
my basement where I have cinder block walls, etc. And I'm not aiming at my TV or anything like that. So
Not going to pull an Elvis.
No.
This show's no good.
I would I dry fire in the basement too. No one's around. There was no live ammo.
Exactly.
But one of the big things, whenever I'm handling a gun, it's
Finger inside the trigger, obviously.
it is all the time, and I'm like a movie set. I am checking this gun every time I'm doing it. I'm racking it multiple times, double checking my mag, even though I know I don't have live rounds around. And every time I touch a gun, and I think this is beneficial for everyone, is practice that. Whenever you grab it,
Trigger outside.
like I just started a Krav Maga, Commando Krav Maga class, and it was just rubber guns, and I had to laugh. Like last night was the first class of that, and it was disarming guns, and some of it I'll reserve my opinion on some of it, but I found it funny because as soon as I grabbed that gun, it was okay. I was down and
Compressed high ready with it.
Yeah.
oh yeah, like we're standing
not
there.
gonna gently
I end
knee.
up with it, and I'm standing there listening to the instructor, and I'm just high ready, just oh okay. And then I'm supposed to point to his chest, which even though I know it's basically a blue gun, but it is black with tape. It's basically a blue gun, and I'm supposed to point this at this guy's chest. I'm like,
Mm, mm, mm.
I don't like this.
I like
Yeah.
you know what? It's the exact same thing when we like. I know it's getting a little off topic, but so for example, when we do our instruction BOIs for Project Maple Seed, we have just a rifle stock and we have a laser on it, but I don't let anybody
Go
be in
downrange
front
of it.
of it.
Yeah.
Downrange of it, and I point it downrange, and I'm modeling something for people, or I'm having my instructors model it. I want us to model the safety. It's important.
The gun, as you're switching sides, the gun barrel goes up. It doesn't sweep the crowd, even though it's a stock.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, and
Anyways.
practice that stuff and get.
Yeah, if you always have those habits ingrained in you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
What about,
Sean likes Kyle's jib.
The cut of his jib,
Cut of his jib.
specifically
Yeah.
the cut. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
What
Sean.
about a maple seed? So with maple seed, we follow a couple different layers. What are some of the What are some of the safety procedures we follow, Kelly?
A lot. So we do that's what I was talking about. We have a briefing in the morning and we talk about the expectations as well. And we also go through and explain to people how they're going to make their guns safe. Also procedures when we go down range, what's going to be happening to them. So the expectations with going around the firing line, not going through, so that they're not, they do not have that temptation to reach down and touch the gun while people are downrange. We go through 6 steps of making a rifle safe. Right, Mo? You remember those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yep. And they're
The
specific.
team on each side to make sure that they're
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we make sure that it's a level of redundancy as well. So for example, magazine out, bolt back, safety on, chamber flag in, and with the ejection port up, and so we can see the chamber flag in over the muzzle and rifle over the muzzle line, and you step back over the equipment line, and you do not go back over until somebody gives you the command to do so. And if something happens, Kelly gets a little upset when it does happen. Like if people are playing with rifles and people are down in range, it shouldn't happen, but I will get upset if it does happen. Let's see what else. We have 4 safety rules, and they're very, very simple. And the reason that they're simple because we want everybody to understand them. But so Kyle was talking about trigger, finger, outside, right?
Yep.
Muzzle direction. So the first one is actually muzzle direction. Muzzle direction is always downrange.
Downrange, yeah.
Figure
Sometimes up.
Sometimes up if you're getting to your sling or whatever.
Slung up. Yeah.
But it's always downrange. That's the only those are the 2 acceptable directions. Finger off the trigger until the sights are on the target. So we want to see them your finger high up on the stock. What's the other one? Do not load until given the load command. I forgot that one. So we specifically have a load command, and you don't insert your magazine into your rifle until you're given that load command. So you have to listen to those. And then everybody else. So we have 15 people typically on the firing line, plus we have our instructors. And at that point, we make everybody a range safety officer because, you know what, 15, 20 people, watching for safety is going to be much easier than just one person watching for it as well. So everybody's responsible for everybody on that line. So it's basically redundancy as well. So
Lots of redundancy. And then the reason for that is we've got 15 people shooting all at the same time.
Yeah.
So anytime you've got that many different people all trying to shoot at the same time, you got to layer the safety on and make sure that people follow
lots
those
and
rules.
lots and lots. Mo, you've been to a Maple Seed. How is the safety?
Well, I was just going to say I was very impressed on how organized and how the safety was applied from beginning, from the beginning of it to the end, and how everything is set up. Like there's no chance of anything bad happening, which is great. So
Yeah.
So I haven't done a maple seed, but
You're the only one.
No, I'm the only one.
This
Only
summer,
one in
or
all of
spring.
Canada that hasn't done one yet. But it's sounding like almost like a construction site, whether you're doing a heavy lift or whatever. One person gives the commands, but anybody can stop it.
Yeah. Everybody owns the ceasefire command as well.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing
And-
is basically what it is. Yeah.
If someone corrects you, there's only one
Proper
response.
response.
Yeah.
It's thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, "Hey, your muzzle's moving over," oh, thank you.
Yep.
It's a good approach. I like it.
Yeah.
I try to do it in regular life. Someone at work corrects me and says like, "Hey, you forgot to do this thing," rather than like, because the back of your brain is always like, "No, screw you, you're wrong, I'm right." Like it always wants to rationalize that, right? But
Proper
taking that
response.
approach of like,
Thank you.
"Oh, you noticed something that I didn't. You're probably right. Thank you."
How about a
Good-
spouse
good
or
approach.
partner correcting you? Is that the
Well,
same?
no,
answer?
No.
doesn't
Yes,
work.
dear.
Sorry.
We
No,
try and make a
can't do it-
habit
can't do
of
it that
separating
way.
spouses. It makes a much happier day.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's lots of different safety things that we layer on, and I think that it varies based on the activity. With hunting, you're probably are going to kill something, so you know the safety has to match that. And whereas with maple seed, the only thing you want to kill is paper. So
Pipper.
and there's many people, so you need to layer on those safety aspects. So
Yeah.
I think we've nailed this topic. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about on layering on safety?
No, just be safe.
Just be safe.
All I would add is just practice. And those are two big ones: the muzzle control and trigger
Yeah.
control. Every time you touch a gun, practice that. There is no escape from that. It's just don't get lax in it, because then it's just second nature, and every time you grab it, it's going to be.
Don't assume.
Don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Complacency kills. Like that's the
It does.
with and every time I'm shooting a video and I'm dry firing a gun, I will show empty on it before I'm doing it, because like of course I clear the guns beforehand, but you know how embarrassing it would be to record yourself NDing into the wall or the ceiling on video.
Yeah.
That's how you want to
Yep.
triple, quadruple. Make sure.
You,
Bad enough to do it, even worse to get it on camera.
we've all seen those videos online, though.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Not yours. No.
Wasn't there a famous trainer in the U.S. that had a discharge? Who was it? Ayub? Masada Ayub?
No,
Oh, no.
not Masada.
I'm not sure.
There was that had
happens,
at
though.
one of his whatever, and he had
I know the one you're talking about. It just happened 6 months
Is
ago.
it that
so
revolver?
no, it was long. It was longer than
long ago. Oh, it happens. Anyways,
I
complacency.
guess it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch for complacency. All right, listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot blowing. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Gunsmithing. Clear your guns before doing any gunsmithing on them.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet Denis over at Armory DC Gunsmith follows lots of safety steps before he
think?
starts working on
You
a gun.
have to.
yeah.
I would
Bet you gotta
imagine so.
clear it.
Yeah.
Even if you're a new person who comes on and that gun's disassembled, I bet you still got to check that chamber, make sure it's
Mhm.
empty. Anyways,
And I
check out
bet you
his
no
website.
ammo's around in that back room.
Likely, yep. Just dummies. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. Mo, do you want to read this first one from
Sure
Julian?
can. Hello, Slamfire crew. Your podcast continues to keep me wide awake on my long trek to work. Please continue being awesome. I'm glad we're keeping him awake. I just purchased a Norinco Type 97 Gen 3, and I'm pretty keen to get shooting, but I am having a small issue with it not chambering additional rounds automatically as it should. I'm going to double check it and do another thorough cleaning, but I'm wondering if there's anything I'm not thinking of that you could suggest that does not involve modifying the firearm. Thanks again. P.S. Kelly, if you're looking for less expensive property in New Brunswick, you should check out what McAdam or Harvey have to offer. I know the houses there can be a lot less, and some land lots are pretty large. Cheers, Julian in New Brunswick. There you go. We got a real estate tip too. So,
Yeah,
Those
it'd be a
guys
long,
sound sketchy. No.
yeah. It's a long commute to where I would be working. So yeah, but I know McAdam and I know Harvey as well, since I lived in both Fredericton and Ormocto. But the gun dealer is in McAdam, so it's worth the jaunt, I guess.
John.
Anyways, the
I
jaunt.
know what's causing Julian's problems.
You do. What is
80%,
that?
80% sure.
Okay.
Okay. I got two ideas. So
Gas selection 0, 1, 2. If it's at 0, it won't cycle.
it may
Straight up.
eject. It may
No,
eject, but it's not going to
zero
pick up.
zero. It cuts
Oh.
it off. It's for grenade launching. There's no gas. So if it's not loading and you need to do it manually, that might be it. You need to turn it on to 1. 2 is like the thing's half rusted out. It's covered in mud. You're in like trench warfare, and you need that empty ejected. You put it to number 2, and it'll fling it like 20 feet out to the side there. That's what I would bet it would be. But there's other things like, sorry, Kyle, you had some guesses.
So gas was my number 1 to check. Like if it's ejecting but not picking up a round, I'd be checking your gas. Or if he's using metal mags, check your feed lips on your mag. They might be too closed in, so it's not picking up the next round from the mag.
Yeah, could be a feeding issue. So we would need to know a little bit more about what kind of what's the chambering bit. So better information to give us would be, is it failing to feed? So the bolt's coming back, bolt goes forward, the round doesn't go into the chamber for some reason or another, or it doesn't eject, the case isn't coming out, or the case comes out and it gets rammed back in there and doesn't feed quite right. So if you can tell us a little bit more about the specific failure it's causing, that would help. But I would check your gas setting. And before you get too far, Loctite down your bases, because I've heard those Gen 3s, the bases can get a little bit wobbly on them if you don't torque them down. That's all I got to say about that.
Cool.
We've been kind of hitting Facebook as we've gone along here. Sean says, how dare you? Mossad is a saint.
Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Masood. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, you're never going to get reminded that.
Sorry to all.
Moving on. If you'd like to email email slamfireradio@gmail.com. Patreon supporters, if you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com, search for Slamfire Radio over there, and throw us a couple bucks every month. And we'll, I don't know, use it to buy fancy mics or video cameras or backdrops or lights or, that kind of stuff. Shoutouts. Kelly?
No.
Says yes.
I know.
Says yes.
It's been there forever in 2 days because I always have somebody to thank. Nope, I'm good.
All right. Let's see. Nope on the other 2 here. I've just got a shout out for Thomas. Thanks for coming out to the range with me. It was a blast. And I hope we get out and look for some deer.
Bring on the deer.
Yeah, bring on the deer. I'm more excited about the moose because moose meat is delicious. Deer is like a little bit more limited. Moose is fantastic. Derek is saying, what's this in reference to?
Well, I think it's with respect to
Layering on safety?
Safety at the range. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Inspect backstops, back vehicles in, know the address of the range, have a first aid kit, know what's in it, know how to use whatever it carries, designate a vehicle that would be in an emergency, and let everyone know where the keys to it are. Yeah, I mean, we all go to events. Yep. This is like super common for a first aid plan or a safety meeting in the morning at a match. Yep.
And double redundancy as well.
Yeah. Do you guys carry first aid stuff when you go to the range?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also
just like on an off day when it's just you.
So on Saturday when I went, the girl that I went with, I showed her where my trauma kit was, and also my first aid kit, and also where there was one on the range as well. And I said, if you need to use it, here's how you use it. Just don't put it around my neck. That's what I said. But
I started carrying my stuff in the car, just keeping it in the car, because one of the things I've heard is you're more likely to run across a car accident, right?
Yeah,
and use it then. Yeah. So
I always have it in the car.
Yeah.
Being in Fort Mac, where we're around oil field, I'm required to have a first aid kit in my truck all the time.
Nice.
So I always have that, and I have a kit on my range bag that I take to the range that has the added tourniquet. I am plan on actually building just a full out kit that's just in my truck. That's both a trauma kit for the range and works as like a Class A first aid kit for work.
Yeah, I like it. Then you just know where it is, and it's got all the stuff in it.
Yep.
And you've always got it. Cool.
Coolio.
Check us out on Gunners Canada. Like us on Facebook. Give us a review. Join the CCFR. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Good night.